Fight!
Okay. I say his name is John Lavallee because I've been saying this the entire time I've known you, but I was told I am saying it wrong.
You're saying it like someone who speaks English, which is perfectly fine.
Okay. Well, Michaela happened to say, very much correct me, and I was like, okay.
Well, Lavallee is closer to how you say it in French, Lavallee. So it really, it's all fine. And apparently that person speaks French because he turned around and was like, French?
So yes.
I answer the stuff you gotta ask.
Fuck. I was supposed to do an interview with someone else this weekend at the other con, and I was like, well, I'm just going to interview you while you interview me. And he's like, well, that doesn't work for me, and he walked away. It's like, how do you work back and forth, have a conversation?
Not even that. I could be like, I'll answer your questions with questions. And we go from there.
That's what I was doing, and he walked away from it.
Oh my god. We would have had a ball. It would have been like, we're done.
Seriously. So, what were you doing here?
Well, we're doing here because I'm here doing all the LARP stuff, and
indeed.
How'd
that go?
It was great. Someone died. We had like not a person, not literally, but character death, which is rare for me. I'm all the fact of like characters dying sucks because nothing more than I'm here to play the game and oh now I'm dead, right? But the guy was like, no. Stupid. I'm dead. I'm like, okay, you're fine with it. We're good. You're dead. And I thought it was a pretty good thing that happened. The whole scenario was really fun. I think it's getting to the size now where I gotta start to like try to focus it a little bit. Not as much as like I'm gonna railroad everyone into the plot, but I'm gonna start introducing more elements to try to keep everyone a little bit closer together because we only had 2 storytellers and we were busy running all over.
As you always are.
Well, we had 4 one time, and yeah, well, you weren't there for that one. We had 4, and it was great. And now we're down to 2. And so it's like tap dance, and hope we get it. But I think 2010 is going to be a good year for us, Firestorm Inc. We've got, I'm going to talk about it now. I haven't talked about it yet, but I would talk to you about this because, hey, I figure this is cool and it's close enough to completion. We got commissioned to write a cyberpunk book for Sanguine Productions. People don't know Sanguine Productions. They do Iron Claw, Jade Claw, Usagi Yojimbo. They do a lot of anthropomorphic stuff. And so they had a rule set for Albedo, which is a squad-based futuristic combat thing. It was based off a comic series. And I looked at the rules and said, hey, this would be a really good cyberpunk game. And he says, funny enough, someone was supposed to write that for us. Yeah, well, that's how it cast. A lot of things have kind of gone lately. It's like, funny enough, someone did it and then flaked out on me. I'm like, well, would you like a cyberpunk book? And he was like, sure. So we got the contract signed, and in about 3.5 months, we got 90,000 words done on Bleeding Edge, which is interesting because they're an anthropomorphic company. They do a lot of anthropomorphics, but he wanted to expand a little bit. So we blended everything together. So it's not just anthropomorphics, there's humans involved too. So there's various levels of relationship between all that. And on top of that, a lot of cyberpunk games don't really focus on class issues. It's kind of, it's there, but yeah, whatever.
It's easier to ignore.
Well, it's a lot easier to ignore, and I really wanted to push that because we actually have like markers. So what you have is you have people who are kind of on top, and kind of on top and to the side, like a 1A and a 1B would be all the predator type. Wolves and foxes and stuff like that, because they eat things. And then on the bottom you have all the prey type animals, right? And in the middle you kind of have a little bit of like, omnivores, like sometimes if they're really predatory they'll go up here or not. So it's cool because like you're not supposed to eat other creatures. There's this great product that allows you to not do that, but instead, it still happens. So it's all kept on the hush hush, and so you have to deal with that. And there's nothing saying that you can't be like a rabbit and running a corporation, but they're gunning for you, not just because you have cool gear, but because you're not one of them. Right? And so there's this great tension that exists in the game that I think is really, really awesome. And we built a city for it. We modified the rule structure a little bit, cleaned up here, cleaned up there, like really did some changes we really like. And yeah, it should be out hopefully by the end of the year, or Gen Con. And Gen Con is the goal.
There are 2 very different goals there. Gen Con's the goal. Well,
Gen Con is the goal.
End of year and Gen Con.
Well, Gen Con is the goal. If it doesn't make it though, it'd really be ready. Like the writing is done. We're at 90,000 words. It's the last little cleanup like Jason's looking for art now.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be really freaking awesome. It's going to be like the rule system is actually really good. It's a little more crunchy than I like, but it's squad-based combat.
Okay.
So it tells you how to deal with your squad and so on and so forth. But what's cool about that is that if we're playing in the game, it's not just our characters. We both have 4 mooks.
Right.
So there's actually 10 characters. So even with 2 people, you can do something huge and epic because you have mooks, and they all have abilities that you can use. And it's not like at the list of they have one ability that they're really good at, and so you can they got a stat line and then they're done.
Right.
So
but it augments everything, so it's not just you and I doing it. People are assisting.
Yeah. Well, not just that. Like we control the people, but we're going to do most of the interacting. So it was a really nifty thing. And even then, another great thing about that is that when people get hurt in a cyberpunk setting, like it takes a while to heal. There's no magic. There's no boom. You're good to go. So what happens is that nothing sucks a life out of a game. And 3 months later, after I get out of the hospital, right, where that if people are going to die, it's going to be more often your mood. So it still creates this tension without having to constantly damage the characters again and again and again.
So, stopping people from walking across the camera.
Good plans,
yes.
I'd say. So there's that. We got an indie game we're working on, Geisha.
I was going to ask you that, because we got to sit down and play it a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Well, no.
And not be distracted by things behind us.
Shiny. What? No, Geisha is it's basically the shorthand of the game. You play people trying to achieve things in their lives, while also playing the fairies that get in their way.
Right.
So you get you play people. You come up with and they're ordinary people. Like they're average. You don't have to. You can do epic. You can do small. There's no defined. You have to play this type of game. So you can do science fiction. You could do fantasy. You could do horror. You could do mystery. There's nothing stopping you from picking any genre you want,
except for your imagination.
Yeah, there you go. And then again, any character you want. And then what's really good is the characters kind of the more they mix, the better it is. And then you play fairies, make deals with other players to give them magical power, and then you have to deal with this conflict between my character wants to do this, but the fairy who's giving me power wants me to do that. Do I do what I want anyway and get hurt because they have power over me, or do I do what they want and screw up my goals? And so it's this conflict that happens, and so it's been a lot of fun. Like the playtest has been really, really good, and so it's got about 20,000 words done.
Okay.
And so we're aiming about 35, 40.
Okay.
Just now we're going to do all the background stuff and how to do it in here, how to do it in here.
I was actually telling people that at the other con I was at, and people were really like, that sounds really cool.
I'm really excited that the feedback we've gotten from it has been amazing. It's been really, really, really good, and so I'm really excited about this product. And okay, good, I can't wait to get onto it.
When are you looking at that? Maybe.
Well, I'm actually hoping because it's not as a bigger project.
Sure.
We're looking at getting that also done by the end of the year.
Oh, cool.
Like 2010 is a really time for me right now.
Nice.
Because it seems like everything's kind of falling into a row and everything's going on. Like I'm getting time to work on a board game or two, times to work on other projects. Like we have another project coming up a little further down the road at the end of the year that I'm going to start that I'm really excited about. Contracts haven't been signed, so I don't want to say anything because then people are going to, oh no, all that kind of stuff that happens. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a hilariously awesome game.
And coming from you, I'm going to expect epic.
Well, I mean...
Well, you say hilarious, so that means to me it's over here.
Well, what happens is that, I'll give a little bit. I mean, it is a funny fantasy game based off of a license.
Oh, yeah.
So
we had mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, we mentioned it, yeah. So it's off of a license, and it's going to be...
This sounds, you were explaining it before, it sounds really fun.
Yeah, it is, and I'm really excited about writing it. The writing is fun, and it's got a lot of energy, and it's going to be really, really, really awesome. Cool. And so that should be probably 2011, and so we're going into it, and when the world ends, 2012. No, it's just funny. I just throw that out there.
We're actually, as a joke, kind of, we're taking donations to fund a end of the world concert. So we're just gonna, plan it around that, and if it happens, it happens. If not, you got a concert.
We got a good concert out of it, or we'd have a good time until we go.
Exactly. That's actually the plan. So, well, thank you, John. It was always a pleasure.
Awesome.
Excellent.